In the next coming weeks, we're going to be discussing all about my knowledge and experience in human resource management from recruitment, timekeeping and payroll, leadership, culture building, and whatnot. I hope by documenting this, I will be able to share my knowledge that you guys can use, especially for small business owners or entrepreneurs or startups. No? Welcome to the Digital Transformation Academy. My name is Dennis Hilario and I'm here to help you in your digital transformation journey. Let the show begin.
Hello, guys. Welcome to the podcast. This is another new episode, and we are still on our HR management series. And today, my co host will be talking about the basic terms in timekeeping and payroll computation. So, without further ado, let's begin.
Hello, so good morning. Welcome to the podcast. So today is Friday, July 16, 2021. And it's a great day today, and I'm excited to talk about our main topic about timekeeping and payroll. But before that, how's your week, Fiona? We skipped our episode last week because of an
didn't have
event.
an episode last week.
Because of my sister's event, Fiona's aunt, her birthday. So how was your week?
My week was great. So just speaking of the birthday of my aunt, we were able to go to province and just relax and go camping, which was fun. It's a good detox for me. But yeah, my week's been great.
That's good. So I'm excited to do this because actually this morning I was working out and I was like looking for, not looking, but recontemplating about why we are doing this or why am I doing this. So basically the main reason for doing this episode or podcast and my content online is to document my stock knowledge that I've experienced over the years when it comes to business concepts, business process automation, and whatnot. So today, again, in the past weeks, in the next coming weeks, we're going to be discussing all about my knowledge and experience in human resource management from recruitment, timekeeping and payroll, leadership, culture building, and whatnot. I hope by documenting this, I will be able to share my knowledge that you guys can use, especially for small business owners or entrepreneurs or startups. No? Kasi to be honest, when I was starting 20 years ago, I have no references or even a mentor who guides me on how to do things, no, particularly in payroll management, human resource management. All of those were based on experience. So based on experience, I don't have a mentor. I have a lot of mistakes, no.
So it was all
So
over
one
the
of the
place.
reasons for doing this is that to avoid, as a starting entrepreneur, you avoid the mistakes when you learn things early on, no.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's dive right into the topic. No? So below this link is my site, dennismhilario.com. You're going to find free download section there, and then you can download that timekeeping and payroll template computation. So in the download, you'll see an Excel file. You can either upload it in Google Docs and view it in your Google spreadsheet, or via Microsoft Excel. No? So as you see here, let's start with the master list. So in the master list, as discussed in the earlier episode, it's the 201 file is all about the file of the employee. No? So you'll see the information like the address, contact number, birth date, etc. No? But in this case, as you'll notice, konti lang yung information because we're just discussing the basics of what information are needed for us to come up with a computation of timekeeping and payroll of the employees. No? So, yung kasing concept of the timekeeping and payroll or yung formula of coming up yung computation ng payroll. When you say payroll kasi, that's the amount of money that you pay to your employees every pay period. So in the Philippines, the common practice is you release the payroll every 15th and 30th.
Okay.
But some companies, they do it every 10th and 25 or 25th.
It depends.
Because, ayaw nilang sumabay dun sa volume of transaction every 15:30. Yung iba naman, they pay every Fridays or every other Friday. So, it depends, no? Yung mga regular employees, normally, it's 15th and 30th. Ano? So, yung philosophy or yung formula of computing for that is a combination of policies and government-mandated benefits or deductions and allowances. Alam mo yun? So, you have to comply with that. Kasi if you don't comply with those variables in payroll computation, then you'll be reported to DOLE, which is Department of Labor and Employment, and you'll be given penalties. No? So it's really important that you understand the basics and then implement it in your company. Otherwise, you'll be penalized by the government if you don't follow these principles. No? So going back to the master list, the basic thing that we define is what we call taxable basic pay of the employee. So in this Excel sheet or spreadsheet, the basic pay that's here is basically, it can be on a monthly basis or it can be a semi-monthly basis. No? So let's assume that this one is ang total package niya is taxable basic pay is 16,075. No, as you see here, and then wala siyang allowances na extra, but meron siyang de minimis benefits. No, yung de minimis benefits, these are government mandated allowances. No, meaning si government ang nagsabi na dapat magbigay ka ng de minimis benefits. No, so the basic example ng de minimis, kasi I think meron tayong mandated na 90,000 a year per employee na pwede lang na ibigay na de minimis benefits. Okay, so siguro before that pala, let me explain the difference of the basic pay and the de minimis benefits. No? In basic pay kasi, these are declared agreed salary of the employee per month or semi-monthly. Pero the company or the employer will still be deducting taxes from there. So you'll not get all 16,075 per month.
That's why it's taxable. That's why.
Yeah, so that 16,075, there's a tax table that you'll have to refer to later on. We're not going to be discussing all the details now. Again, the main topic is just basic terms about timekeeping and payroll. So kung magkano man yun, for example, 10% yung tax. No? So yung 16,075, you'll be deducting 1,607.5 pesos.
Yeah.
Bibigay mo. But the de minimis benefits, hindi siya kasama dun sa tax. So tax exempted siya.
Okay.
So in return, the employee will get all 1,925. You follow. But the 1,925 can be broken down into, for example, cash allowances o kaya rice subsidy, uniform, pwedeng laundry allowance. So those things, again, meron tayong regulation sa tax, sa train law when it comes to the details, ano yung mga breakdown of the de minimis benefits. No? But just to simplify, in this example, it's 1,925 per month ang de minimis benefits niya. So ang total package niya roughly is about 18,000 pesos.
Okay.
But just to emphasize, the employee will not get all 18,000 pesos because of the deductions.
It's gonna be broken down. Yeah.
Later on, let's discuss that. Ano? So, anong nangyayari is that on a day-to-day basis, there's a time in and time out of the employee. Anong oras siya pumasok, anong oras siya lumabas. Diba? So, majority of the policies ng mga companies dito sa Philippines is that they are basing the pay of the employee based on the time in and time out. Ibig sabihin, kung ang office hours mo is 8 o'clock to 5 p.m. and pumasok ka ng 8:30, so you can be considered as late. So meron kang deduction. Okay?
Okay.
But some employers, they are lenient. Ibig sabihin, lenient when it comes to tardiness. They don't charge tardiness deductions, no, sa employees. So again, it varies. Depende sa culture ng company na gusto niyang implement dun sa organization niya. They follow?
Yeah.
But basically, there's like parang roughly, kasi 'di ba, ang normal office hours is 8 to 5 p.m. Mondays to Fridays. Okay. By law, there should be 48 hours per week maximum na pwede mong i-impose sa employee na time kumbaga, total work hours per week.
Yeah.
So kung isa-sum up mo yan, that's the equivalent to about 272 to 280 hours per year. 280 days per year in total. So those variables that I'm talking about are used kasi in the computation of tardiness, in computation of absences and whatnot. So the first thing that we identify, if you go to the absences tab of this Excel sheet, is that meron ba siyang absences? Okay.
Yeah.
Ibig sabihin, dun sa day-to-day niya, meron ba siyang day doon, for example, Monday, na wala siyang time in and time out.
Mm-hmm.
So, easily, kung wala siyang time in, time out, absent siya. Di ba?
Yeah.
So, there will be deductions from the 18,000 peso package of the employee. Okay, but kung meron kasing mandated na tinatawag natin vacation leaves and sick leaves, no? So, ibig sabihin, kung ang reason for the absence ng employee is that nagkasakit siya, so, meron parang by default about 7 sick leaves per year na pwedeng i-consume.
Oh, there's a limit. Okay.
Yeah, there's a limit. I think the mandated is about 7 days,
7 days
per year na pwede siyang mag-absent due to sickness. No? Then the employee can apply for that. Wala siyang, pag in-apply niya yung kinonsume niya yung sick leave benefit niya, then hindi siya considered as hindi siya madededactan ng absences.
Yeah.
Kasi,
but if it's beyond that, then
but beyond that can be some companies, they extend it to
okay.
What do you call this, to 14 days, 21 days, depending again how generous yung employer.
How about you as a boss?
Sa sick leave kasi, in our case kasi we just follow the standard. But for the vacation leave, aside from the mandated by the government na 17 or 14 days, right now, meron kaming ini-implement na bonus of 5 vacation leaves, 5-day vacation leave every time they complete a project.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so ibig sabihin, if they complete
like
the project, we give them incentive in cash.
Oh, okay.
Plus vacation leave for 5 days para makapagbakasyon sila after the project. So that's how we implement it right now. So yon, it varies nga, depende dun sa company. So yon, so once na-identify mo na yung na-consume niya na leaves, vacation leave, sick leave, meron din tinatawag na maternity leave pag nanganak siya.
Yeah.
Meron ding paternity leave for the fathers pag nanganak yung wife niya. So, then you can implement other types of leaves depende dun sa organization. So, on top of that, dito rin sa absences section, kinocompute yung tardiness nga if they implement tardiness deductions. Kung na-late ka ng 30 minutes, may equivalent value yon in terms of cash na madideduct from your pay pag absent ka. Yun. So moving forward, after you compute for or you identify the absences and tardiness, let's go to overtime. Okay? So by law, if you're a rank and file employee or an entry-level employee, meron kang overtime additional pay every time na you work beyond the regular working hours. For example, if 8 to 5, then you are tasked to work overtime for additional 4 hours. So may additional pay ka based on that. So may mga variations yan. So for example, it can only be considered as overtime if it's been pre-approved by the supervisor. Ngayon, pag wala kang approval, nag-overtime ka, hindi ka makukomputan ng overtime. Then another variation is that pag 1 hour lang yung overtime mo, hindi considered as overtime. It should be minimum of 2 hours. Something like that. Doon ka lang magkakaroon ng computation. And then may tinatawag na night differential. Ibig sabihin, if you work beyond 10 p.m. onwards, yung overtime, kasi normally, yung overtime pay, may additional yan na 25% of your early salary. No? Pag night differential, may additional pang 10% on top of the 25%. So, mas mataas yung overtime fee kapag beyond 10 p.m. So, yung mga ganon. Tapos, meron ding mas mataas na overtime fee pag nag-overtime ka during holidays. Kunyari, pinag-overtime ka ng Bonifacio Day. So, your overtime, pumasok ka, is double pay. So, times 2 yung salary mo pag pinapasok ka ng
so, there's
overtime.
Higher overtime pay pag beyond 10 p.m. than like overtime beyond 4 p.m. or something.
Yes, we call it night differential.
Okay.
That's why yung mga nasa call centers, yung mga panggabi kung tawagin, they have night differential fees kasi they work beyond 10 p.m.
Yeah.
What else? Yun nga. So if you work ng rest ng holiday or rest day, for example, Sunday, pinag-work ka ng Sunday, iba rin yung rate ng overtime fee nun. So yung mathematics of how you do it, you should be basing it, parang meron kang overtime table na itong hours na ito rest day ito night differential, etc. So imagine how difficult to compute for a payroll of an employee if you have 1,000 employees, di ba? So you're gonna be computing it manually using Excel. It's so difficult, so much difficult. That's why if you use a payroll software or a system, that system will compute it for you easily. You don't have to think about overtime, ano ba to, rest day ba to, holiday ba to, etc. Diba? So there's a lot of time saved pag gumamit ka ng software.
Doing all that on this seems very stressful.
Yeah. And by the way, singit ko na rin, this episode is brought to you by our own Snap payroll and HR software. So if you guys are interested, feel free to check out the link below of the details, and you can also ask for a demo of how we do this. But again, we're just explaining this. But if you guys, if you're a smaller organization, then yung using this Excel template, actually this Excel template computes for itself na rin eh. Kaya lang you have to identify pa rin ano yung mga araw na rest day. So may konting manual intervention if you use this Excel. Pero if you use for example, the Snap payroll, then seamless na yon. Based on the time in, time out of the employees and the policies of the company, it auto computes for the net pay.
Yeah.
So anyway, moving forward, if you go naman to the payroll tab, so nandito na yung details of everything. So kung after identifying the absences, after identifying the overtime na consume ng or na what do you call this, ginawa ng employee, then you can already lay out the payroll computation. So if you look at this, again, may summary dito na total basic pay niya plus de minimis benefit. Going back dun sa master list, dito kasi is monthly di ba?
Yeah.
16,075 plus de minimis of 18,000. If you go to the payroll, if you'll notice, kalahati na lang. Because semi-monthly nga tayo So, ibig sabihin, dinidivide yun 15/30 yung 18,000 peso package.
And then it's put here in payroll.
Exactly. Yeah. So, now may tinatawag din na payroll period cut-off. Kung 15 ang pay period mo, kung nagre-release ka ng payroll every 15th, ang question is, what is the coverage of time in, time out for the 15th of the month payroll? So, for example, today is July 15, is a payroll day.
Oh. Okay.
So, actually, after this, we're gonna be releasing a payroll. No?
yeah.
Today is a payroll day. So, the computed payroll of the employees, the period where the payroll is computed is from June 26 to July 10.
Okay.
So that's the what do you call the payroll computation basis. Yung pinasok nila from June 26 to July 10. Yun yung marirelease ng
Are you
July
allotting
15.
5 days in between?
Yeah, 5 days because we need time to compute for it.
To compute. Okay.
Kasi there are a lot of, kasi may mga dispute pa yan sa employee. Ibig sabihin, they have to review. Later on, there's a payslip tab given to the employee. So so they see transparent sa kanila how we arrive on with the computation of their payroll. Sometimes they have disputes. For example, hey, I work overtime and hindi mo na consider itong overtime na to, something like that.
Yeah.
So we need about 5 days to resolve all those disputes and whatnot. Yun. So that's the reason why. So ibig sabihin, yung pinasok nila from July 11 up to July 25th will be released on the July 30, 31st na pay period, na pay release. No?
Okay.
Okay, so again, we have the pay period that the basic is total package of 8,462. Then again, kung may absences siya, mababawasan yan. Diba? Tapos pag may overtime siya, madadagdag siya dun sa gross pay mo. No? And then, important that you know, so yung gross pay mo shall be this. Gross pay would be the total package less the tardiness and absences plus the overtime. Okay. Meron din dito na plus minus yung tinatawag na payroll adjustment from the previous payroll from the previous payroll. Kasi sometimes na-release mo na yung payroll, may hinabol pa sa employee na dispute or kaya naman may hinabol pa na deduction ng employer. So dito yung ginagawa. So
you still include that? Yeah,
kumbaga yung adjustments na yon, you apply it to the next period. Okay. Yun, so then after that, we also deduct SSS, PhilHealth, Pag-ibig. Those are the 3 government mandated deductions na, for example, in this case, yung 308.8 pesos na we deducted from 8,462 will be given to SSS as their contribution. Okay? Yun namang 100 pesos will be given to PhilHealth and then 50 pesos sa Pag-ibig. Yung basis of the computation of this is based on the tinatawag na SSS table, PhilHealth table, Pag-ibig table that's provided by these entities. So, ibig sabihin, pag mas malaki yung sweldo mo ng employee, mas malaki yung didideduct sa kanya na payroll, na SSS contribution.
Also, it varies talaga. It's not like there's a standard deduction.
It varies depending on, there's a standard in terms of salary ranges. If your salary range is 10,000 to 20,000, this is
Pero
the
bigger the salary.
The bigger the salary, the
more deduction.
More deductions, yun. So ano ba yung makukuha ng employee dyan? So if you are an SSS member, you contribute every month, etc. Then you can apply for SSS loans. Later on, if you retire, you'll get some benefits and whatnot. Pag na-hospital ka, meron kang discount dun sa hospital bill kasi member ka ng PhilHealth, something like that.
Okay.
Okay. So after deducting the SSS PhilHealth Pag-ibig, there's what you call taxable income. So ito na yung lalagyan na kukomputin naman yung tax of the employee. Okay.
Yeah.
In this example, wala siyang withholding tax kasi sa train law, yung tinatawag na train law na recently na implement 2018 nata yun.
Yeah.
Pag ang salary mo is minimum salary or basta may range yun, wala ka ng tax. Okay, which is beneficial to rank and file employees, no? So again, may table yan. The higher your salary, the higher is your tax.
Your tax.
I-deduct yan dun sa sa what do you call that? I-deduct siya sa payroll mo. Okay? And then, yung additional columns dito, SSS loan, Pag-ibig loan, Globe calls, etc. Kung meron pa bang other deductions, kunyari may loan ka sa SSS, syempre kailangan mo, instead of the employee siya yung magbabayad sa SSS, yung employer na magbabayad sa SSS, kukunin siya sa sweldo mo. Kasi umutang si employee kay SSS, di ba?
Yeah.
So, si employer ang magfa-facilitate nung pagbabayad ng employee sa SSS by deducting it from their payroll. So, in effect, meron siya ditong net pay. So, ito lang yung from the package of 8,462.5, 8,003 lang ang makukuha niyang net pay or sweldo niya at the end of the month. No? On a pay release or the payroll release on the 15th and every 30th. No?
Yeah.
Yun, yung other deductions din, halimbawa, meron siyang tawag dito. Kunyari, meron siyang laptop na in-issue ng company, nasira niya. So, based on the company policy, pwede rin i-deduct sa kanya yun. O kaya, meron siyang mga, what do you call that? Mga, kung meron pinrovide na cellphone dun sa employee, then the employee, meron siyang mga personal calls na charge.
Is that why there's a Globe calls tab here?
Yeah. So, i-deduct din sa kanya yun. O kaya naman, nag-advance yung employee ng pamasahe for an official business transaction sa labas, then yung employer should reimburse kung ano yung in-advance ng employee. No, something like that. So, it varies, no? By the way, it's important to note that dun sa employee SSS PhilHealth Pag-ibig contribution, si employer magbibigay din ng equivalent amount to SSS PhilHealth Pag-ibig. So, ibig sabihin, kung 308.8 ang dineduct sa employee, ang ibabayad na employer is times 2 of that. Na-charge naman, ibig sabihin, part of the expense ng employer is nagbibigay din siya ng contribution for that employee. Okay? As part of the benefit of the employee para mas mataas yung contribution ng employee. No? So, having said that, in summary, if you go to payslip tab, ito ngayon yung binibigay natin sa employee as their reference. If, for example, why did we arrive to 8,003.7 na net pay? Okay, so ito yung details nun. So the employee will now analyze this. Oh, I have a overtime that period. Bakit hindi na isama? O yan naman, I have a reimbursement request but hindi na isama. So yun yung mga dispute na Now, if you're using a system or a software like Snap Payroll HR, then there's we have a portal there that the employee, instead of getting this physical copy of the payslip, you can log into that Snap Payroll. The employee can log in and then they can see the payroll this payslip already automatically instead of getting the copy physically or via email. No?
Yeah.
At the end of the year naman, very quick lang, yung total payroll na na-issue sa employee, it has to be reported to the government sa BIR na ito yung, we call it the alpha list of the employee, na ito yung mga binayad nating tax sa inyo as employees. Then may variations pa yan, may tinatawag na 13th-month pay, may final pay, etc. So those things, let's cover it in the next episodes, or probably an online online course about how to compute for payroll and all. But those details kasi medyo mahaba. But pretty much this is the basic. You can refer to government tax table, mga tax table, SS table sa kanilang websites, no? If you want to learn more about the tax tables, no. Other than that, meron kang any questions so far?
Maybe a question could be, what would you want to parang say to small businesses who are still not organized with this kind of stuff and it's basically all over the place?
Yeah.
What kind of effect will that have in your business?
Okay, so I think the major consequence for not, being careful in computing for payroll is that ma-penalize ka ng DOLE or ng BIR for not computing your payroll correctly.
Yeah.
At the same time, by the way, yung mga SSS that you collected or deducted from the employees, it has to be remitted monthly sa SSS Philippine Pag-ibig. So if you don't do that, then you'll be penalized as well. So worst pa if you'll be parang you close shop because of not doing these things,
Yeah.
So first and foremost, you need to learn these things. So it's mandatory to learn these things. Actually, you can hire people, who has experience or who is knowledgeable in this compliance to the government. Pero if you're
that is always good to know.
Yeah, but if you're a small entrepreneur, a micro business, and you cannot afford hiring one, then it is important to learn this yourself, so that you don't be penalized or you'll not suffer dun sa consequences of not being compliant. So that's the important factor. So this one can help. I mean, this template can help kasi may mga formula na dyan, but you just need to review it regularly kasi sometimes SSS, they change rates. Yung PhilHealth, nagbabago sila ng table. BAR, nagbabago ng table. So you have to make sure na you are updated as well. Kunyari, yung salary range na 10,000 and to 20,000, tinaas nila yung deduction. So you really need to be up to date when it comes to those things. So, ayun.
Yeah, I think the terms here are pretty straightforward, and let's say using a payroll software would make it way easier.
Yeah, definitely. Kasi imagine if as you grow, if you have 100 employees, 1,000 employees, and you have to do this individually.
Yeah.
Ang tagal nun, So kasi dito if you have a software, real time, ibig sabihin, pag nag-time in yung employee, nag-time out, alam na ng system how much the pay of that employee for that day. So pag nag-payroll ka, instead of you need that 5-day allowance to compute for the payroll, you can be efficient enough na maging 2 days na lang or 3 days or 1 day na lang when it comes to payroll computation. Yun. Again, I like to share this information kasi nga in my experience is that ang dami kong mistakes before. I did not follow these things right away when I was starting, So malaking consequence, malaking penalties if you don't follow these things, And you as well, if I know you intend to have your own business in the future, at least you know now na you have to learn these things. Otherwise, or you hire somebody who knows this. Otherwise, there'll be consequences. Yeah. So, any more questions?
I think those are my questions.
All right. So, again, thank you so much for listening and or watching our video podcast. Again, this episode is brought to you by our own Snap Payroll and HR software. It's a cloud-based payroll computation software. The only software you need for your Philippine-based micro small business, Yun, so you can try it out. Just go to the below link. We'll be posting this in the link below. You can or ask for a demo if you want to learn more about it. Now, if you're new here, you may consider subscribing so you'll get up to date or not be notified in the future episode. We are trying our best to do this on a weekly basis and release every Friday. But again, with our busy schedule, sometimes we skip. We apologize. But again, I think this is gonna be my advocacy to really share all my knowledge. Lahat ng stock knowledge ko sa an experience ko over the years will be shared here when it comes to business process and business process automation. Last time kasi accounting, ngayon HR payroll. Later on we'll talk about sales, product development, and whatnot.
That's it. Thank you guys for listening.
DX Your Life in Business. Have a great day.